Hello, hello, hello. Yes, zu-wii-mama is back, and yes, we got another great tutorial again today, and we're doing the villager, and it's one of the skins of what yeah, we're doing one of the skins of one of the villagers, and yeah, this one looked pretty cool, so I thought, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I quite like the look of the little mask that he's got on his head, so I thought, yeah, why not? Let's go for it. I mean, there's so many different variations of the villagers nowadays, so I just sort of picked the one that I thought looked pretty cool, and yeah, this was the one that I come to. Yeah, what do you think? I mean, it looks alright, I think. You know, I quite like the nice little mask on top of his head there. I love the bit of orange that's in there, but I was, a bit unsure on the arms because, obviously, because the villager's arms sort of slant like that, it's quite hard to get the angle, especially when you're building diagonals in Minecraft, as some of you are probably aware. So yeah, I weren't sort of 100% on the arms the way that I did them, but I mean, if you've got any better ideas, then obviously do that and change it in your builds. Okay, so getting on to the colours. So we've got a bit of stripped oak wood, we got some stripped birch wood, we got purple terracotta, light grey terracotta, light grey wool, what's this, light grey concrete, so we've got some cyan terracotta, grey concrete, white terracotta, god, we got a lot of colours here, orange terracotta, orange concrete, smooth sandstone, white concrete, what else we got here? Black terracotta, grey terracotta, brown terracotta, brown concrete, brown wool. What else we got here? We do have a lot of colours, so I do apologise. We've got green concrete, green terracotta, and lime terracotta. So that is all your blocks you'll need for this build. So I apologise, but there is a lot. But we'll get through it, don't you worry. So first things first, if most of you out there have probably built most of my mobs already, so you would know that we're going across by 8 and then across this way by 4. So we're making a nice long rectangle, 8 by 4. And this is how most of my mobs generally will start, depending on what mob I'm building. And then we're going to go up by 5, okay? So like so. And then we're going to do the first part and there we go. For some of you eagle-eyed people out there, you would notice that my pause section has completely changed. I've been sort of messing around a little bit with Photoshop, and I thought, yeah, let's do that because it's a nice little touch. It's redstone, it's red, it has a nice effect, and I thought it looks a little bit better than the previous one that I had. But anyway, let me know in the comments if you think my new pause section screens look pretty cool or not, because if not, I might have to go back to the drawing board and make something else. But for the time being, I think it's a nice addition, and I think it looks pretty cool, especially when the lights are flashing on and off with the redstone there. I just think it all ties in nicely to have that Minecraft theme to it anyway. But anyway, so once we built the first part of the leg, we are now going to come from the top, and we're going to come out by 1. And we're going to go all the way around, okay? So this is going to be the sort of, I guess, the apron section and sort of body section of the build, right? So we've done these little feet, and we're going to go from the corner here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like so, okay? So we're going to be going up by 10, and then we're going to be putting on the first pattern. Woo-doo! There we go. So you can see there's a lot of browns in there, obviously. Pay attention of the colours there, because sometimes, I mean, this one isn't too bad, but sometimes it can get a little bit confusing with the amount of colours that are in there. And not only that, some of the colour variations as well, quite close to each other, but it gives a nice effect anyway. And there we go, spin on around to the back like so. And we got a little bit of birch wood here, and stripped oak wood as well. With the sand, why didn't he say sea sand? It's not sea sand, it's smooth sandstone. There we go, whip on round to that side, and we're nearly done. That's the first part of the build done, and then we'll be moving on to the second part, which will be the upper half of the body, or the torso, let's say. And then from the top again, we're going to go straight from this corner. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this one's a little bit shorter than the other one, and I'm just going to put these blocks here like so, just so you don't confuse you, because we've built this section already, so I don't want you then sort of going over the same sections we've already built. Okay, so like so, and you can see a lot of pink on there, and for the people out there that know my builds and know how I work, obviously those sections are going to be left blank. So you can put, you can leave them blank, you can put a random block there, you can put pink there, you can put any block you want, but obviously don't put anything there for the time being, because we will be putting the arm sections on there shortly, okay? So that's the whole reason why I do that. There we go, and we're going to spin around to the back like so. Lovely jubbly, looking cool. And then spin on around to the left, and you can see clearly where the arm's actually going to go. So we are actually going to stagger that down in a minute, but it'll all make sense once we get to that section. All right, so there we go. And then spinning on back round to the front, and I will get rid of those blocks that I placed there earlier. Right, make sure you pay very close attention to what's going on here. So we're going to come out by 4 from that corner block, and then 4 this way towards us, and then we're going to bring this line all the way back along. So this can be his arms, all right? So I knock out a block here, but you don't need to. So that's meant to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then bring it out by 4 again. Does that make sense? Just go back and watch it slowly if not. And we're going to be going up in a minute, but we're going to just carry on for the bottom section of the arm for starters, and we're going to whack on this pattern, like so. So like I said, it should come out by 4 either side of the body, and then down by 4, and then all the way across. So it should be, yeah, you got it. And then we're going to come to the corners of the arms, and we're going to go up by 2. So we now whack on this pattern, there we go. So it should be 3 high, okay? And we've already done the base section there, so you're only focusing on the 2 sort of upper halves. And now we're going to do the top of the arm, like so. And remember, the big pink sections, don't do anything there. Don't put any blocks, because that's going to be a void area, no blocks there. Or we're going to be placing blocks on it shortly, okay? So there we go. Should have something looking a little bit like that. And that should be the end of the arm. So most of these blocks already did. If you've done all 4 sides of the arm so far, you're only filling in this sort of section, the middle sections, which is a bit of smooth sandstone. And the back there should already be done. Like I said, if you've done the other panels as well, that should all be looking the same. I just thought I'd show you anyway, just on the off chance that you might have sort of made any error. At least you can sort of have something to reference it by. And that's the other side of the arm, and it should be exactly the same as the other side. There we go. I must admit that part of the build was fairly tricky, but it's not as tricky as the next section you're about to do. So pay very close attention to where I'm placing these blocks, because I'm not actually going to do any pause sections here. I'm actually just going to be doing it block by block placement, and I'm doing it at a very slow pace. So hopefully you should be able to follow along with exactly what I'm doing and placing the blocks where I'm placing them, okay? So as you can see, I'm just going to let the film roll, and we're not going to do any pause sections, like I said, and you're just going to literally copy along of what I'm doing, okay? So like so, you should be having something looking a little bit like this. A bit of smooth sandstone underneath to finish off the arm. And like I said, if you don't think this part of the arm looks, you know, particularly too great, because, I mean, I was sort of on the fence with this part of the arm, to be honest with you, because just of how the colours were, and it's quite tricky to do. So like I said, if you don't think it looks particularly too great, or you think you can modify it in a way it looks better, then obviously go ahead and do that. I mean, as long as you've got the main body section, or the main body part done, I guess the arms, I mean, you can sort of modify to how you want. And if you think that you need to put a few more blocks in there to give it more of an angle, more of a diagonal, then obviously go for it. And just do what you can with the colours. I mean, there's no exact right or wrong with building, really. I mean, if you can sort of use the same colours, just blend it in nicely, then go for it, okay? And there we go. So there we go. I'm just sort of panning around slowly just so you can see what we've done. But congratulations if you've done that, because that bit was fairly tricky. Like I said, we ain't done no pause sections, and I've literally just played along. So, I mean, like I said, you might have to sort of go back and replay this part of the video. And now we're just going to spin on round to the left-hand side and do the same, exact same on the other side. But obviously it's going to be sort of opposite, I guess. Okay, so again, if you need to, just go back and replay this part of the video if it is a little bit tricky for you, okay? But I mean, I am going at a very slow pace, because a few of you did sort of say in the past that I go too fast, and I must admit, when you're there building away, you don't sort of, it's sort of not in your forefront of your, in the forefront of your head at the time. You're just thinking, right, let's build this, let's get it done. But then obviously I've got to take in consideration you that are obviously watching and building this yourselves, that I must admit, sometimes I've actually went back and watched some of the videos that I've done and realised that I have actually gone way too fast, and I couldn't even sort of keep up myself if I was to do it again and watch one of my videos. So you know, I think I have sort of learned a little bit of a lesson there, and actually have tried to slow down as much as I can. Not only that, I mean, a lot of people do actually sort of mention about sometimes my my video tutorials ain't exactly great in the sense that I sort of explain things very clearly. So I do actually try and make a more of a conscious effort nowadays as well, particularly now I've sort of, you know, did quite a few builds that I do need to sort of be a bit more clear on explaining some of the builds. But anyway, let's get on with this. So back onto the part of the head build, we're going to actually come out by 1. So we're going to follow the pink section we've done, and then we're going to come all the way up by 10. Okay, so quite simple. Just make sure you're in line with the pink section we've done, and then we're going to drag this 1 block overhanging all the way across, like I said, to the edge of the pink, and then we're going to bring it out by 1 from the back as well, and then also we're going to bring it up by 10. So there we go. So that's going to be the sort of rectangle part of our head, and oh, that's a bit too early. There's the sort of first part of the head. And as always, remember that we're going to be placing stuff on these pink sections, so you don't need to worry too much about what's going on there, so you can leave it blank if you so must. So I'm just going to waffle on for a little bit now, because these next few little panels are going to be easy for you to do. All we're going to be doing is finishing off the head. So I thought I might mention a few things about perhaps upcoming builds that I'm going to be doing. I'm still getting a few requests that are coming out, so keep them coming, because obviously it does help with me obviously sort of plan what I'm doing next. I mean, I've got a few that I'm working on currently. I'm also currently working on a previous build that I'd done in a previous video, which is an updated version essentially. So yeah, we've got them coming, so it's exciting stuff. We're going to work on the nose quickly here. So we're going to bring this out by 2 all the way down to the pink, and then we're going to come from the bottom and then like so. There we go. Lovely jubbly, you are done. Congratulations. And now all we need to do is place on, well, I nearly forgot this because I did this on the previous video as well. I nearly forgot to do the top of the head. So we better do the top of the head. I'm making a bit of a habit here at the minute of forgetting to do the tops of heads of my mobs. So we better do that section first. And now what we're going to do is do the mask. So we're going to come up from the corner by 1 and then bring that all the way across like so. And then all we're going to do now is whack on the mask. There we go, looking cool. So that is it. Congratulations, guys. You have now fully completed your villager. And yeah, what do you think? If you want to see any other villagers that you particularly like, I will definitely give it a go and try and get some of them built, because this is only one variant, like I said, of one of the villagers. So if there's anything else you particularly want to see, then obviously drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to do it. Anyway, I've been zu-wii-mama, and I hope to see you on the next video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here as well, because it really does help the channel. Thanks, bye!